All right, hello everyone. It's a minute after the hour. We'll get right started. Welcome to this webinar brought to you by ShipStation and Walmart. My name is Mark and I'll be quietly working behind the scenes while our two great speakers have the floor. We have seen an overwhelming response to this webinar and we'll be covering selling on Walmart Marketplace from start to ship. We have a lot of ground to cover, so we'll briefly start with the why you should be selling on Walmart Marketplace, followed by how to maximize your application, how to optimize your operations to get ahead, and how shipping can put you on a path of being a top seller. So first, a quick few housekeeping notes. All attendees are muted and questions can be submitted via the question box on your webinar dashboard. This webinar is jam-packed with information, but we will get to questions at the end. We'll do our best to answer any technical and audio questions should they come up in the question box during the webinar as well. And lastly, the webinar will be recorded and we will email you when it's available for viewing. So without any further delay, we're excited to have our friends at Walmart join us on this webinar. So thank you, Chris, for getting it kicked off for us, and I'll give you the floor.
Thanks very much. My name's Chris Janaszewski. I'm based in California and worked at Walmart.com for 2.5 years now, managing channel partnerships for Marketplace. It's my job to make sure that Walmart is connected to the right solution providers to help sellers grow revenue and provide exceptional service to customers. I'm super excited to co-present with ShipStation, an approved partner that supports many Walmart sellers through their best-in-class shipping platform. And today we're going to talk a bit about how Walmart's doing, who shops on Walmart, and then we'll be covering elements that talk to both marketplace sellers considering adding Walmart as a new channel, and also existing Walmart marketplace sellers that are looking to grow their business and have a fantastic holiday season. So as you know, e-commerce is growing rapidly and projected to reach about $700 billion by the end of 2020. And various reputable sources estimate different growth rates. So NRF projects about 12% growth, while Internet Retailer gives a more optimistic growth number of 15%. Walmart.com is actually outpacing the market and projecting 40% growth in 2018. So you might just have seen, we shared our Q2 results. We actually achieved 40% year-on-year growth in Q2. In the ever-changing retail landscape, Walmart is uniquely positioned to enable customers to research, shop, and receive goods where, when, and how they want. And with all this, at Walmart, we rely on our third-party partners, our marketplace sellers, to offer the best assortment and customer experience to Walmart shoppers. So a few stats on the current state of the business. Walmart is the world's largest omnichannel retailer according to the NRF Top 250 Retailers ranking. And last year, we significantly grew our catalog to reach over 75 million items. We currently have about 100 million unique visitors monthly to the site, but let's put some color to this number. So we have a lot of diversity in our customer base on Walmart.com, which allows our third-party sellers to reach valuable customers no matter what they're selling. So customers come to Walmart.com looking for a much wider assortment than they do in Walmart stores. And what we're seeing is more than half of our online shoppers are married or partnered and have kids. And what might be surprising is that millennials are our largest generational segment, over 1/3 of our customers. Also, more than half of Walmart.com customers have medium to high household income and own a home. So this slide gives us some insights into what Walmart.com shoppers are looking for. Interesting insights came from the annual Cantor report on Walmart. And not surprisingly, Walmart is save money, live better. We help customers save money to improve their lives. So value is the leading reason people shop on Walmart, with 66%, the overwhelming majority said that feeling like I got a deal is the most important purchasing factor for them. With the rise of multi-channel shopping, customers now have all the information at their fingertips, and regardless of income, they are savvy about pricing and search for better deals online. Walmart's focus has always been on saving people money, and now we're growing our 3P partnerships. We ask our sellers and vendors to fine-tune pricing continuously to be competitive and to meet our customers' expectations. Now, for those sellers that have been selling on Walmart for some time, you've been through a journey with us along our growth trajectory. And starting as a new marketplace, we've been very conservative, very focused on getting the right customer experience and also ensuring that we have the right price point. So we want a customer to be confident that when they go on Google to look for a product, they're generally going to see Walmart as the lowest price in the market. And we've pushed pretty hard with marketplace sellers to get this price down. Some of you will have had some of your items unpublished in the past. Now, we've invested a lot in technology to improve the way that we manage this process so we can still give customers the lowest price, but also support sellers. The strides we've made over the last few months have seen many, many items getting republished. So one action I thoroughly recommend you take in the build up to holiday season is to look through the inventory or look through the items you post on Walmart, check any that may have previously been unpublished for which you zeroed out inventory and add inventory back in, because you're going to see a lot of items getting republished there. So a tip for holiday season. Back to the data on the slide. So experience and convenience are 59% and 42% respectively. So those are two really important factors. Our shoppers like to have a stress-free experience before and after the purchase. And that's why we expect our partners to ensure fast delivery and easy returns. We partnered with ShipStation on this webinar to show you how you can optimize your shipping operations to offer best-in-class customer experience. In relation to shipping, something that you may have seen, we've made a lot of efforts to develop is a 2-day free shipping offering. Most of our first-party products are now available for 2-day free shipping, and when you do a search on Walmart.com, you'll see the free 2-day tag against these products. And we're also expanding this to marketplace slowly to a select bunch of eligible sellers. So what I would say is, and we'll touch on this further down in the deck, is to really look closely at your order defect rate, and because that feeds into the eligibility criteria for eventually being able to offer this free 2-day flag. More to come in the future on that. And the third point on this slide we want to talk about is assortment and brands. So 49%, 35% respectively of customers say they come to Walmart.com looking for assortment and brands. So if we go back to the point that we get many millennials on the site, a third of our customers are millennials, think about the sorts of brands that millennials are looking for. They're not necessarily what we traditionally stock in our Walmart stores. So a lot of opportunity for brands way beyond that, mid to low high-end brands. We're going to sit really nicely on the site across a broad range of categories. When you join Walmart Marketplace, you can sell with confidence. And at Walmart, we have a multi-layer vetting process that allows us to select experienced sellers only and promote a professional community in experience. As a marketplace seller, you will have control over pricing and customer experience. And if you look to expand to a new sales channel, you should seriously consider Walmart to boost your online growth. Marketplace sellers can leverage the power of the world's largest retailer while keeping your unique identity. It's good for your entire catalog, and there are no setup or monthly fees. We only charge a reasonable referral fee for each sale that you make. This next slide looks at the qualification criteria for Walmart Marketplace. Okay, so as I said on the last slide, we are selective about who we add to the site. So we want to keep a fantastic customer experience. We want the best sellers on the platform. So one thing we're going to look at in your application, we're going to ask you to demonstrate that you have really strong marketplace experience. So we'll ask you to submit a URL from one of the other major marketplaces, and we'll take the time to look at your feedback and your product reviews, looking at the level of experience, ideally 12 months experience. We want to see that you're serving customers extremely well. You've got to be a real business, so have a US tax ID, provide a W-9 form. In terms of uploading items to the site, we want items that have UPCs or GTINs with them. So the structure of our marketplace is similar to Amazon in that there is a single listing for each unique SKU, and multiple sellers can tie inventory and an offering to that listing. So it's essential that you have UPCs or GTINs. Pricing is something we'll touch on again. It's super important here that you look at the market and you do your best to offer the lowest price you can for this product, because Walmart is intent. It's extremely important to us that customers get the lowest price in the market. This pricing includes a product plus shipping. Fast and reliable fulfillment is very important. Ideally, offer free shipping where you can. Free shipping is going to feed into the decision on which seller makes the buy box, whether it be Walmart or a third-party seller. Along with price, those are things you can really focus on to try and win the buy box. In terms of fulfillment, you've got to be fulfilling from a US warehouse. We cannot allow at present orders to be fulfilled from an overseas warehouse. You can't fulfill from an FBA warehouse. You'll need to fulfill from your own warehouse or another US-based third-party warehouse, just no FBA. And the last point, but by no means the least, first-class customer service is incredibly important. So as a new marketplace seller, there are really two stages to onboarding. There's the approval process, and then there's the onboarding, the technical onboarding process. Where you'll start is there's a unique URL that we'll provide on a slide later on, where you'll fill in an application. Be super diligent in completing everything you can in this application. Don't skip bits. You've got to enter all the information to give you the best chances of making it through the application and not getting declined. We have a business rules engine that scans through applications immediately and will decline for various reasons. Our approvals team will also look at the application and can pull the application out of declined state, but this just adds time to going live. So be diligent in the application, and be on the lookout for emails in your inbox asking you to do things such as, finish your application, or emails from one of our team asking for more information. And the final part of the application process is we will send you a contract that you have to execute. And once you've got the contract and you've executed that online, then that's the approval process done. And you will then move into the onboarding phase. And the thing to look out for there is an email inviting you to register in Seller Center. That's our seller portal where you will manage your account. You'll also be able to access your API credentials there that you will put into the ShipStation system to be able to enable them to process your orders for you. As part of onboarding, once you're in Supply Center, you can actually set up your items there, or you can use a channel aggregator, such as a channel advisor, to upload your items through the API. So you can work with multiple channel partners. You can work with ShipStation for your orders, inventory, and fulfillment, and you can work with another channel aggregator to set up your items. That is completely fine. The heavy lifting piece of onboarding is setting up the items. So we do recommend that you do work with a partner on that. And also, very important is get all your items up there. Get all your items listed. That way you can ramp faster for holiday season and really generate sales. So when you do generate sales on the marketplace, it will be a real comparison to what you're doing on other marketplaces. If you only list 10% of your products and then compare it to what you do on the other marketplaces, obviously you're likely to generate a lower proportional GMV. Get all your items listed there. And then be ready to go live and process these orders through ShipStation. So for those sellers who are on the marketplace platform already or plan to join, we'd like to cover seller performance standards. Our performance metrics are something we introduced in September 2017, and they measure customer satisfaction with the marketplace experience. Marketplace sellers are tracked on order defect rates, or you might hear it known as ODR. It should be less than 2%, so aim for less than 2%. On-time shipment rate is expected to be above 99%, and valid tracking should be provided for a minimum of 95% of orders, and those are things ShipStation can help you with. Which defects do we consider for order defect rates? So cancellations, returns, and delivery defects, they all feed into your order defect rate. And you can see this when you log into Seller Center. We provide tools such as Seller Center for sellers to track their ODR rating and take action accordingly. ODR rating below 2% is fantastic. A rating between 2% and 6% means that there's some improvement needed. Sellers with a rating above 6% should take immediate action or may risk being suspended. So I would recommend log in daily, if not weekly, to Seller Center, look at your ODR rate, figure out why you might be dropping low. Maybe it's the choice of carrier or method you're using. What I would definitely say is, don't take any risks with your selection of carrier and method. If you want the item to be there in 2 days and you choose a 2 to 3 day service, there's a risk it's going to arrive in 3 days and you're not going to meet the customer expectations. For that, you can get dinged on your seller performance, and it's ultimately going to cause you stress in keeping your account in good standing. So here, the Walmart brand is known to be one of the most customer-centric companies. Weekly, we review customer service calls, and the top 2 call reasons are returns and exchanges, and then where is my order? So in reference to returns and exchanges, marketplace customers contact Walmart customer service to initiate or inquire about returns and exchanges as the #1 reason. And for this reason, we're planning to streamline the returns process. This fall, we're launching a new program that we'll discuss a little further on in the presentation. And the #2 customer call reason is where is my order? A third of Walmart marketplace customers contact customer service to inquire about the status of their order. And let's take a closer look at both of these in detail. A great product return experience is a top contributor to overall customer satisfaction and repeat purchases. Our customers expect a consistent and easy experience, regardless of whether an item is sold by Walmart or by a marketplace seller. We also know returns can be an unwieldy process for you, our sellers. So our new returns program, which is launching on October the 1st, will significantly improve the returns experience for both customers and sellers. Customers will now be able to print shipping labels directly from their Walmart.com accounts and return the product back to a seller. The benefits of this program are, firstly, a transparent returns policy will build customer satisfaction and brand loyalty, resulting in improved conversions. Secondly, sellers will have greater control with an option to configure the returns policy for each item individually, including settings for restocking fees, shipping carriers, returns windows, and more. Overall, we'll aim to create a fast and efficient process that will help sellers focus on their core business while customers initiate their returns through Walmart account. And this is just the first step. With 4,700 stores across the country, we have a huge opportunity to make the marketplace returns process even more seamless. And we look forward to sharing more in the coming months on this. So here we have 2 marketplace customer sentiments in verbatim. I have still not received my order, even though the tracking says it's shipped. No clue why it's taking weeks to get here. I have still not got my product yet. I've been to FedEx office the last 3 times, but due to weird reasons, still not got it. So I'm sure in your own customer support, you've heard these reasons come through before. As I mentioned earlier, where is my order is the second most frequent question our customers have for customer experience. So this slide looks at customer experience detractors. And the top 5 reasons for our shoppers inquiring about their orders are missed estimated delivery date, order not found, lost in transit, orders stuck in processing, and no tracking information available. Walmart customers expect fast and reliable fulfillment with valid tracking on all orders, and there are solutions that power many e-commerce sellers to deliver this on expectation. A couple of things to really focus on as we move to holiday season to avoid challenges in this space. So managing your inventory goes without saying. You've got your busy time coming up. Many of you may see a peak in your sales. It's really important to get inventory right, and when you go out of stock, zero out your stock. Don't sell items that you don't have in the warehouse. As I said before, don't take risks with the choice of carrier and method. Be conservative there. I know everybody wants to get costs down. It's the right thing to do for your business, but don't compromise the customer experience for reducing cost is one recommendation I would give. Okay, so as we all commit to ramp for holiday season, now is the time to get on board. List your products with great content and low pricing. Walmart remains committed to our seller community, growing together and setting new standards for online experience. ShipStation, we're about to pass you over to ShipStation to tell you a bit more about how to actually help you realize and execute your goals on Walmart. Just before we move over, you'll see a link here. For anybody who's not yet selling on Walmart and wants to apply, go to info.shipstation.com/Walmart to start the application. I wish you a great holiday season. Over to Cody now. Thanks very much.
All right, thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. As you mentioned, my name is Cody Diarman, the sales director here at ShipStation. Been around for about 5 years or so. Now that Chris laid out all those great reasons for you to consider Walmart, if you're not already, we're going to talk about a few ways that we can help you to execute on that vision. I will chime in here because Chris was modest about it. We integrate with over 100 different selling channels at this point, and that gives us a really cool front row seat to the e-commerce space. I can say definitively that across the landscape, our merchants who have implemented Walmart have seen explosive growth, much above average. So I know we have a mixed bag on attendees here. Some of you may already have ShipStation, some of you may already have Walmart, some of you may be new to both. But if you haven't explored that channel yet, I cannot encourage you more to check that out, especially with tools like ShipStation. It doesn't mean that you necessarily add extra work to your day. It can be another channel that you use to drive sales, and we'll look at a tool that'll bring all of this into one place. So just to reiterate what Chris said there, if you're not already, I couldn't implore you more to check that out. The process is really easy to get started, and we've seen massive growth for our merchants. So echo everything that he said there. So you know that this is the boring part for many of you in your day. You're excited about coming up with new products, new marketing strategies, and shipping can kind of be the last thing that you think about checking off your list. We live and breathe it every day. So we've got some pointers, some things that you may not take the time to consider, some strategies that you can implement to scale your sales, and then also to make this holiday season a success. So we're going to try and shift the thinking around here to not so much have shipping as an afterthought, but an integral part of your strategy when it comes to the full sales cycle. You put a lot of thought into where you're driving sales. You're bringing on channels like Walmart to get you these sales, but you don't want to have this part of the process be the lasting impression that leaves a bad taste with your customer or that docks your ability to gain repeat sales. So we're going to look at a few ways that you can achieve all of this without necessarily adding time to your day. As we know, this day and age, the customer expectations are always evolving. They're becoming higher and higher. We're going to give you some tools to meet these, and then also, of course, to keep you in good standing in the marketplace so you stand out as a top performer and again drive these sales over and over. Last thing we'll leave you with is that we tend to think of shipping as an extension of your customer experience. You've done all the work to get the word out there. You've got your brand in front of these people. They've made the purchase. So we want to make sure that we engage the part of the process where you know that they're guaranteed to be interactive and use it as a tool to drive success for your business in the long run. So first things first, being a top performer, what does that mean? What does that look like? So there are a few things here that we're going to look at. What you need to do as your benchmark for shipping when it comes to these Walmart orders. Of course, first things first is going to be getting the orders out the door by the end of the next business day. That is a requirement. It's not unique, and it's a good practice to have, in my opinion, anyway. But we'll look at where you can see that in Walmart, and then we'll discuss how you can achieve that in ShipStation. Again, all of these requirements or benchmarks that we're discussing here are not things that should add extra work to your day if you have your processes in place accordingly. The next is that you're getting your orders delivered within 5 business days. That's going to be a mark of a top performer in Walmart, again, helping you drive those repeat sales, keeping your customers happy, and hopefully shortening that sales cycle, driving repeat sales through the holiday season. Of course, the customer is expecting a tracking number. Walmart's going to require that for you as well. So you want to make sure that at least 95% of your shipments do have valid tracking. Again, ShipStation can help you achieve this automatically. So it's not something you're going to have to do out of your way, but it is something to keep in mind. If you don't have a tool in place that does this for you, if you're still copying and pasting tracking numbers, you're obviously leaving that up to user error and exposing your business to some unnecessary pitfalls there. And then, of course, the top performers in the marketplace are offering free shipping across their entire assortment. We know that that's realistic for some businesses. Other businesses may struggle with that as they're getting off the ground, but we'll look at a few different tools that you can use to make informed decisions when it comes to your strategy there, so what you're offering your customers. So what does this look like in your seller center? What are your benchmarks, the ones that we just discussed here? So first and foremost, of course, What are you shipping the same day or the next business day? In ShipStation, oftentimes my team, as we're working with merchants to help them get up and running, optimize their strategy for their omni-channel selling, is to look at this. Maybe something as simple as a filter, maybe ranking your orders according to their age. We'll look at a few ways you can do this, but that's going to be your first step that you want to keep tabs on. When are you actually getting orders out the door? The next, as we touched on there, how many of your orders are you getting there within 5 business days? At this point, customers are expecting shorter and shorter delivery times, so that'll be something you want to keep top of mind as well. You see here, they're above their 95% threshold on the valid tracking. Using ShipStation, confident you can keep that up at 100 because we can do that for you automatically for processing these labels through ShipStation. That is something to keep in mind. You shouldn't be having to navigate between tools to manage that part of the process. It should happen automatically as you're shipping these orders out. And then, of course, the strategy around how often are you serving up free shipping to your end customers. Obviously, that's going to help with conversion. It's going to drive repeat sales. We'll look at ways that you can be smart about that and not just have it be a sunken cost. So we'll start with that last one, how to approach free shipping. As I mentioned, we get a pretty cool front row seat to entrepreneurs of all sizes selling all over the place, doing anything that you could think of. And so that gives us a really cool view of the landscape here. We get to crunch some data. We get to share our best practices, hopefully making these merchants as successful as could be. First things first, that free shipping, 57% of customers abandon a cart when free shipping is not an option. So what used to be somewhat of a luxury now is the expectation, right? So the biggest thing that you can do right off the bat to drive cart conversion is going to be offering up free shipping whenever applicable. So what does that mean? That shouldn't just be, I ship it this way, it costs X amount of dollars, I just have to eat that on every order. With tools like ShipStation, now you can bring multiple carriers into one place. So that means that you can evaluate different options. You can essentially shop around to see what's going to get it there most cost effectively, still meet your SLAs of delivery time, and make this process as seamless as possible, and therefore maximizing your margins as well. At this point, ShipStation works with dozens of carriers, so you shouldn't have to hop around from solution to solution to solution. Within one platform, you should have all of your options there in one place. A lot of the merchants that my team works with as they get started will employ our rate calculator to make informed decisions, start to see that, okay, this type of shipment or this product line or orders going to this part of the country are typically going to be best served by this combination of carrier and service, and then building that into an automation that happens every time. Again, this process should all work the same, whether you have 1 order, 10 orders, 1,000 orders that need to go out the door. We're trying to scale you up for the holiday season, for the next phase of your business. Again, all of this should happen without adding time to your day. The same amount of work as you should become increasingly efficient in your operation. Negotiated rates and discounts are something to explore as well. You should never just settle for the rates that you got when you signed up from a carrier's website. ShipStation, we will provide you commercial plus rates for USPS as an example, rates that you would normally qualify for, a really high volume. Other carriers were preferred partners with them as well. So if you don't have existing carrier accounts, definitely invite you to explore that through ShipStation. We can help you get started with rates that can be significantly cheaper than list. So if you just set up an account once and then you never thought about it, you never negotiated with the carrier, you never really revisited that, definitely invite you to explore that part of the process as you head into the busy holiday season. That could be money that you're leaving on the table right now. That's something my team can help you look into as well. So again, if you haven't ever explored that, definitely recommend putting that at the top of your to-do list as you head into the busy season. So even just a little bit saved on every shipment can start to add up. And of course, not just the money that we're trying to save here, as I touched on, we're trying to save time as well. So this should be a repeatable, scalable process. If you have twice as many orders one day, that's a great problem to have, but it shouldn't mean that you spend twice as much time, filling boxes and getting orders out the door. So with tools like ShipStation, automating this process, we can make it look the same every day, regardless of how busy you start to get, making sure that you're hitting your SLAs, making it a very successful holiday season. Things like automation rules and service mappings can take the order information that you get on Walmart that you work so hard for to get that sale and translate that into best practices that happen every time without manual input or without you having to make a decision on an order by order basis. So 2 takeaways there. If you're paying more, or if you just haven't ever put thought into what you're paying for the shipments, definitely keep that top of mind. And if you find yourself doing anything repetitively at this point, we should be able to cut that out with automation. So again, kind of the theme here is optimizing things as we head into the busy holiday season. How does this interact with Walmart? So the first thing is understanding this process, understanding the SLAs that we touched on there to make sure that you're meeting them. So how do we get to those numbers? The first thing first is the order cutoff time, right? So it is dependent on when the order is placed. Currently, the standard in Walmart is that if the order is placed before 2 p.m. local time, Monday through Friday, it's considered that business day. Your clock essentially starts at that point, right? So within ShipStation, what we typically set up is filters that show orders that were placed that day, or order age ranking that start to show you when orders are starting to lapse to get behind. So it shouldn't be something that you have to go in and look order by order, but as you have that defined for your account, as we see here, pretty straightforward, 2 p.m. local time, should build in your account accordingly. So you could have alerts if an order is starting to get close to that, or you can prioritize orders that need to go out that day. So put some thought into how you're getting orders out on time and in the order that they're supposed to go out. And if you have questions around that, or if you've never really put thought into that, again, my team would be happy to look at the account with you, make sure that your account is set up to automatically handle these SLAs so you stay in good standing, keep the customer happy, and keep your stats where they need to be. Then the other part of this equation, and this is where we can definitely help, is the actual lag time for fulfillment. So this is the time that it takes for you to actually get the order, pick it off the shelf, pack it into the box, and get it out the door. So the standard is going to be 0 to 1 business days, and that is a requirement. That's not just for the top performers. So that's something to have in mind. So again, all these little things in the process that may just seem like a couple clicks here and a couple clicks there, they really start to add up as you have these deadlines that you need to meet, right? So small things like copying and pasting addresses, or big things like doing one label at a time. Those are all things that are going to make it harder and harder for your team to meet these SLAs. So whether it's a tool like ShipStation or whether you're just evaluating your internal operations, these are things to keep in mind. Could be that you started doing things a certain way when you were a smaller operation, and that's just how you've always done it, or that's how your warehouse staff is comfortable. But now is the perfect time of year to evaluate everything from A to Z here to make sure that you're not just doing things repetitively that waste time, that cut into this lag time and make it harder and harder for you to have happy customers and to keep your stats up. So again, kind of the theme here is that if you find yourself doing something over and over, that really shouldn't be the case, right? You shouldn't really even have to do one order at a time if you want. Tools like pick lists or packing labels in bulk, all of these can help chip away at this, get this really down to a refined process. I would say probably the biggest win on my team for new merchants that we onboard is when we see the light bulb go off. Merchants that we work with that maybe we're doing things manually, or we're jumping back and forth between tools to get this part of the process sorted. They may say, hey, wow, this was taking 2-3 hours a day, and now I've got it down to 20 minutes. That's what we're here to do. If that sounds like your day-to-day, definitely invite you to explore this. If you have an existing ShipStation account, it's still taking longer than you think, or maybe you just haven't revisited in a while, definitely reach out. We'd be happy to take a look at your account, hopefully point out some optimizations specific to your operation that can whittle this fulfillment lag time down, because that's what we're here to do. So a few specific examples of how I see merchants accomplishing this. So first and foremost, of course, is having this all available in one place. Most merchants are selling in several channels now, so you shouldn't have to hop around between tools for specific carriers or even specific channels. So I would definitely recommend having all of this in one place. Fewer tools to manage, fewer room for user error, ultimately less time that you have to spend doing this. From there, most merchants that we work with are sorting orders by age. So we make it very easy, very apparent to see how long ago was this order placed. Am I running up against my SLAs? Do I need to filter down for my orders that have to go out today? All of these things that can be easily accomplished. Again, it shouldn't be something where you have to open up an individual order, look to see when it was placed. It should just be stack ranked in your account, or you can just set up a simple filter that says, if my age is older than, XYZ, let's go ahead and bump it to the top of the queue. Things along those lines. The main thing is just to put a little bit of thought into it. If you have questions around how to build this in, reach out to us and we can do it for you. But you need to know what orders you need to process, specifically what orders really need to get out the door that day to keep your SLAs up. Next, of course, I kind of touched on it, but creating pick lists, simple tools that instead of going to the other end of the warehouse, grabbing that one SKU that you need off the shelf, walking back to your station, putting it in a box, taping it up, printing one label, putting it on there, and then repeating the process. Tools like ShipStation make it really easy for you to do this in bulk, whether it's one order, 100 orders, 1,000 orders. This process really should look the same. So maybe you want to knock out, the 50 orders that need to go out the door today, and you just select all of those and create a pick list for all the products that need to be grabbed off the shelf for those. Or the next point, batches. Maybe you want to, instead of doing one label at a time as you've done previously, you want to do 100 labels at a time. You could get really automated in this process. Essentially, the idea is that your fulfillment process in ShipStation should look like logging in, seeing the orders that need to go out that day, hitting select all, and clicking print. At that point, everything from pick lists to the actual labels itself should happen for you automatically. So if your operation does not look like that today, consider a tool like ShipStation or reach out to us to optimize your current ShipStation account. Again, a lot of this can be done in bulk now. It shouldn't be a one-off order, copy and paste, create one label at a time, walk over, grab one item. That was the old way of doing things. Now we see successful merchants scale by doing all of this in bulk. Okay, and of course, the next part of this process is the transit time. How much time does it actually take for the shipment to get there? So you see the standards listed out here. You've got the minimum time and the maximum time. So those are your windows, right? That's the ultimate measure. It's going to drive happy customer service. It's going to drive your rankings on Walmart. So this is really important, and it doesn't have to be guesswork anymore either, right? In ShipStation, that rate calculator that I mentioned, where merchants are using us to make informed decisions across different providers, it's also giving you an idea on how long this is going to take. If you've been doing this for a while, you probably have a pretty good idea, but if you're new to it or you just haven't revisited it in a while, it's very easy to apply the best practice automatically every time. So you shouldn't be relying on someone there in the shop to do the right thing. It should be done for them, right? So if you have new workers come in, or if your team scales, or whatever the case may be, you get really busy, this should all work the same, right? So for example, maybe that a certain delivery area, maybe it's your East Coast orders can be delivered on time with USPS, but if it's outside of that delivery area, to meet your SLA, it needs to go 2-day service. Anything that you can come up with there, whatever the use case is for your business, we can build that in. So the first is being aware of these standards. Of course, keep that top of mind, and then kind of working backwards from there, the services that can fall within that, essentially most economically for your operation. So do a little bit of homework up front. My team, again, can work with you to do that, making informed decisions here since you have all of these in one place, and then building in the practices with automation rules or service mappings to make sure that it happens every time. We're about to look at what that will look like. So of course, the first part of this two-part process is going to be on the Walmart side of things. So it's selecting your shipping methods in Seller Center. So I'm sure most of you on Walmart are familiar with this already, but it's going through and specifying by region, what standard, what expedited, what next day, and of course the rate that goes with that. As we touched earlier, the more free options, the better, but you don't have to go into this blind anymore. With multi-carrier tools like ShipStation, again, you can start to run hypothetical shipments through as you build out these decisions. So you're not taking a shot in the dark here. You're making really informed decisions with data behind it to start to add in rates here that will be, most effective for you as a business, but then also obviously driving cart conversion there. So, that's the big thing that I would take away here. Don't think of shipping costs in the cart as just, a loss. Think of it as part of your strategy towards driving repeat sales and getting that cart conversion as high as possible. So first part of the process here, set up on the Walmart side, use ShipStation to make informed decisions and make that setup within Seller Center. And then it should be a really quick setup on the ShipStation side of things. You take your settings from Walmart, and then we're going to have those turned into what we call a service mapping in ShipStation. So what does that mean, service mapping? It just means automatically have the right thing happen every time. So if that means standard always goes first class package, or if that means that For example, your expedited always goes with a certain carrier and a certain service. All of that should happen automatically. It shouldn't be a scenario where you have to open up the order, look to see what was selected, then go back and select from a drop down how you want it to go. All of that should happen automatically, right? So it's just that. It's mapping it up. It's mapping your Walmart settings into what you want to happen in ShipStation. The great thing is that you set it up once per choice, right? So you just set it up once for standard, and then the right thing happens moving forward. Same thing for expedited or next day. You just set that once, you tell ShipStation what to do. From there on, we've learned your preferences. We're going to make that happen automatically. You always have the option to override it if there's some extenuating circumstance. But again, the whole key here is having this pre-assigned out so that if you want to, you can log in, hit select all, click create labels, and you're off and running. So 2 parts: set it up in Walmart, and then in ShipStation, match it up to how you want that to go. At that point, your process is almost completely automated. Most of the merchants that I work with do set it up that way, but you've also got other automation tools at your disposal here. Again, if you have a ShipStation account and don't have these in place, please reach out. We can set it up for your account in 5-10 minutes, make a world of difference as you get busy headed into the holidays. If you don't have an account yet, reach out. We'll get you set up with one. It's really simple to implement, and we can help build in best practices from all the entrepreneurs and merchants that we're working with on a day-to-day basis. The service mapping we just looked at, a one-to-one relation between what the customer selected, how you want it to ship out. You can get granular and set up product defaults. If you have a SKU by SKU setup that you would like to implement in ShipStation, that's very easily done as well. Preset groups, if certain lines of SKUs always ship a certain way, or if you want to apply changes in bulk, you can do that very quickly. And then, of course, the automation rules, where you can get really creative, really granular. Those are going to be probably our most powerful tool within ShipStation to have the right thing happen every time, whether that's something like a high value order gets special treatment and is shipped a certain way, or specific customer choice at checkout translates into a specific setting, or if you want an alert to go out if you start to hit a certain threshold on age. Anything that you can think of that you would want to happen automatically, or that you feel you do repetitively, at this point, we should be able to automate out with some combination of these rules. And don't feel like you have to go it alone. Again, reach out to us here at ShipStation. Expert on our team here in Austin, Texas can walk you through all of it. And then, of course, all of that adds up to the expected delivery date. And this is going to be the outcome that drives that customer experience. That's going to be driving repeat sales. And of course, that's ultimately going to be driving your stats in Walmart, helping you stay in good standing there, helping you maintain this explosive growth that we've seen for our merchants on their platform. So again, pretty straightforward here, whether it's free, standard, expedited, or next day. But again, think through the strategy with what services and what options you would like to offer. And then, of course, make sure that we're meeting these. Again, with tools like ShipStation in place, should be able to cut down, especially the fulfillment lag time, the transit time, to help you meet this expected delivery date every time. And there's just a few quick notes to leave you with on some advanced things that you can look at. As we've touched on throughout the presentation today, we're looking at ways to make you exceptionally efficient as you start to scale, as you start to gain more orders going into the holidays. So you could start to think of things like scanners. We have some merchants that run their entire operations without ever touching a keyboard, right? They may pull up a packing slip, scan that, have a label automatically generate, and then go on to the next one. Instead of searching for an order by name, they may just scan that document and have it automatically pull up. I've seen some merchants that may have a list of barcodes printed out, and they scan a barcode to automatically assign service and have specific settings apply. So as your operation starts to scale, this is something to put thought into. Every little bit that you can cut down, even if that's just a couple seconds per order, can really translate into that many orders that you can get out the door that day, or that many more orders that you can get out the door with the same amount of headcount. So you're not having to scale necessarily your workforce as you scale your sales. So all of these are just little ways. Again, don't feel like you have to figure this out on your own. If you have an account, haven't looked into this, we've got a ton of resources. We can show you how to do this. If you're new to this arena, again, this is some advanced functionality that we can bring to your operation to help get orders out the door as quickly as possible, maintain a great customer experience. And as I touched on at the beginning, ShipStation is exceptionally well connected when it comes to e-commerce platforms. So all the tools that you see here can be integrated into ShipStation. Walmart has been one of our most popular and most successful integrations. The main point here is that you should have all of this integrated into one place. If you heard nothing else I said today, just don't be hopping around from tool to tool, whether that's carrier to carrier, whether that is e-commerce platform to e-commerce platform. In this day and age, especially heading into the busiest part of the year, you should have a consolidated view of all of your orders. It's going to save you time. It's going to cut down on user error, and it is just going to make your life so much easier as things get busy. So if you have systems that you feel like you're jumping back and forth between at this point, reach out to us. We're happy to have that discussion. We have more integrations built out than anyone in the space, but then there are also other options that are available that you may not see on the website. So if you're trying to figure out how to integrate your stack here when it comes to your operation, bring us into that conversation. We're happy to share some of our expertise when it comes to this, show you how we see the most successful merchants implementing this flow of data. And then again, I know we have a mixed crowd today. Some of you already are on ShipStation. If you saw something here that piqued your curiosity, reach out. We'd be happy to educate you on some best practices or work through your process as you get busy. If you haven't used ShipStation before, you don't currently have a ShipStation account, maybe some of those things about jumping back and forth or copying and pasting or spending more time than you would like to hit a nerve, we'd love to help with that. ShipStation.com. It's going to be a link at the top to try it free. You can't miss it. That's going to give you unlimited access. Everything that we touched on today will be available to you for free for 30 days. You don't even have to plug in a credit card to get started. An account manager from my team, an expert here in Austin, Texas, will reach out, will educate you on all of this, will help you set up best practices so that you can meet your requirements for Walmart. You can have a successful holiday season. You can maintain happy customers that want to come back and buy from you, not just during the holidays, but all year round. So that's what we're here to do. Hopefully save you some time, make your life a little bit easier, optimize your shipping process so that you can spend more time focusing on the part of the business that you get really excited about. So we appreciate Walmart bringing us in on this today. As Chris mentioned, if you're not already on Walmart, maybe you're a ShipStation user, I definitely recommend looking into it at info.shipstation.com/Walmart. Quick application there will get the ball rolling. The ShipStation side of things, once you have Walmart in place, implementing that into ShipStation so that all of your orders come into your existing flow will take you about 2 minutes. We'll help you to set all of that up. So very pain-free process. So couldn't echo what Chris said anymore. So thank you all for hearing me out. Hope that was helpful. And again, any questions, come up ShipStation.com. We'll be happy to help whether you're an existing user or whether you're looking at this for the first time. We'd love to have that conversation for you to make this holiday a success.
Hey there, so Chris again from Walmart here. We had a few questions come through, so I'd like to try and take a look at some of these and see if we can give you a bit more information to lead with today to help you to grow your business. So one of the first questions that came through was, how long does the application take? And also, I have applied, how do I follow up? How long does the application take? So to actually complete the application online probably takes you about 10 minutes. So maybe 15 minutes, depending on having all the information with you. So be prepared to sit down and go through it diligently. If, in terms of the approval process, how long does the approval process take? That depends heavily on how well you complete the application and then the output of the information you provide. So we want to see that you're experienced, you're a genuine business, and that you're performing extremely well in terms of serving customers on other marketplaces. If the information that comes back seems okay, maybe you're not ready for Walmart, maybe you're too small as a business, you don't have enough experience, maybe your feedback and product reviews aren't at the high standard that we require on the other marketplaces. If you do get declined, go back, take a look at those, see if you can figure out yourself. Yeah, maybe my Amazon account, my feedback score is low, my percentage is low, or I've only been operating on other marketplaces for a couple of months. Just because you've been declined for an application once doesn't mean you can't come back in a few months and reapply and get through. You're not banned forever. Just at that point in time, we thought you weren't quite a fit. So don't give up. Do make the effort to try and figure out. We're not going to give you all the reasons. Some things we've got to keep internal, but take a look through all of those pieces and see if you can figure out what you might need to change. And it may just be you need longer experience on other marketplaces. If you put in your application that 100% of your items are currently fulfilled FBA as well, that's something that's going to get you blocked. When our approval agent reaches out to you, this is something you can discuss with them, and they might ask you for evidence that you've got another warehouse. What I would say is, in the application, if you do currently ship 100% FBA, but have are willing to ship Walmart from another warehouse, a non-FBA warehouse, then maybe reduce the percentage from, say, 100% to 50%, just to show that, and then have a conversation. Okay, next question is, what is Walmart looking for in potential suppliers? So as I said, really high quality, serving customers well on other marketplaces. In terms of categories, we serve a broad range of categories. So consumer electronics, home, outdoor, sporting goods, furniture, a really wide range of categories, apparel. The categories that Walmart generally serves best ourselves traditionally are groceries and consumables. So that's bread and butter to Walmart. That's core to what we do. A bulk of that we have first party. We have direct relationships with these. So we don't necessarily, on the marketplace team, actively look for sellers in that space. That said, there are some that sometimes come through to support extra assortment. In terms of other categories to maybe that we're not quite ready for, automotive, where a product requires fitment, i.e. could be a product that a single UPC that is used across multiple makes and models of vehicles. We're not able to yet display that very well on the site, so we steer away from bringing in those products. But everything else, go for it. Try and get these products listed and see what comes in. What we've seen from many sellers is also that products that haven't sold well on the other marketplaces sometimes actually sell well on Walmart. There might be a gap. If you think we've got 75 million SKUs, our biggest competitor up in Seattle has made, 350 million. There's a really large assortment gap there. So there's opportunity for you to bring some products that you can be the first to market in. The question here, is Walmart Marketplace different than Walmart.com? And can you explain the difference between Walmart.com and Jet.com? So yeah, something maybe I should have addressed a bit earlier on. Walmart Marketplace enables third-party sellers to sell on Walmart.com. And on Walmart.com, you'll have these marketplace products alongside Walmart's first-party products that Walmart owns in our own warehouses, and also dropship products that are also classed as first-party, but it's a third-party supplier that does the fulfillment. So all three models sit on Walmart.com. Your products will sit next to Walmart's own products. In terms of Jet, obviously Walmart and Jet are part of the same company. Jet.com is a separate platform and a separate technology stack with a separate application process. So consider Jet as a sales channel separately, apply to them through Jet.com site and work with their team there. You can sell on both, that's completely fine. Okay, looks like some of the other questions are more ShipStation focused, so I'll pass to Cody for those.
Sure. So a couple great questions coming through here. First one that we have is asking about actually getting the order out the door and the actual material around that. So can you use carrier branded materials to box up your order? So a great example of this, probably most popular on my side of things, might be something like USPS flat rate box. So great question, no problem there. So your options would be using a carrier branded delivery box, or of course unbranded. So you can set that up in ShipStation. You could have an automation rule that says automatically assign this service, and then it could even have a message to your workers saying, hey, make sure you use this specific type of box. So we can pre-assign that service. You can use the carrier specific boxes or unbranded boxes. And then again, assuming you're managing these orders alongside potentially orders from other channels as well, just use ShipStation to build out automations to the right thing. And every time, you shouldn't have to put extra work or manage these separately. Just build in a rule that says, use USPS priority flat rate for this particular type of shipment, and then maybe flag that as a flat rate box. It can be a really quick part of the operation. Similarly, another question around actual marketing material going in the delivery. So to maintain consistent customer experience on Walmart, to avoid any confusion, no marketing material in your Walmart orders. But again, this can be really easily accomplished within ShipStation. So you can set up a rule that says, hey, don't include, a packing slip, for example, that may be necessary on other orders. Things along those lines can be easily built in. But yeah, great question. For the Walmart order specifically, you would skip the marketing material, and that shouldn't have to be done one at a time. It can just be built in as an automation rule on that front. So great question, easily accomplished within ShipStation, no problem there. Then we had another question come in around managing inventory. I know Chris had a couple of great points around handling that up front. A lot of different options in the space. We see successful merchants accomplishing that one of two ways. Within ShipStation, you are going to have a native inventory management solution. So a lot of merchants are taking advantage of that. It comes included with the ShipStation subscription. So you're getting a great value not only for your fulfillment, but then also for managing your SKUs, your stock levels, your reorder thresholds. That may be somewhere to start. If you have an inventory management platform that you already have in place, I would look into it because ShipStation integrates with almost all of the leaders in that space. Or if you're evaluating new options, reach out to ShipStation. We can give you our view of the space. So different tools. At this point, there are a ton of options out there, but we integrate with nearly all of them. So you should be able to seamlessly connect that into ShipStation, have this all be, one contained ecosystem that, again, doesn't require you to jump back and forth or do extra work. So if you don't have a system in place, I'd invite you to check out ShipStation's native system. If you do have one in place, I would definitely recommend looking into integrating that with ShipStation because chances are we already connect.
All right, this is Mark again on the back end. That's all the time we have for today. We have tons of questions coming in. Thank you everyone for joining, and we hope this has been an informative webinar. We've taken note of all the questions that have come in. Should you have any further questions that you didn't type in the box, email us at webinars@shipstation.com so we can route it for the best answers, and we'll try to get to all of your questions as well. A recording of this webinar will be sent out within the next few days. With that, have a great day, and thank you again for taking the time to join today, and happy selling.